Take a moment to peek into the lives of inspirational people living the true definition of happiness with author, presenter, personal stylist and coach Moana Robinson, who chats to people who have overcome challenges to live their best life. Moana is a passion and purpose coach and personal stylist who empowers others to discover their best life and style, regardless of age. She is also the author of multiple books, including Amazon #1 bestseller, Be Style for Life, Living with Sass and Style Over 50, and also Teddy's Revenge, Overcoming Life's Challenges with Sass and Style. Here is Moana.
Hi everyone, it's Moana Robinson here with another Take a Moment interview with my friend Julie Fisher, who is an amazing woman. I met Julie quite a few years ago when we had written our first books. Julie went to a book retreat, which was, I think, in the May of the same year that I went to a book retreat. And she now works as a publications assistant at 48 Hour Author. Julie has written 3 books, and I will leave you to Julie to do her introduction about some other amazing things that she's done.
Thank you, Moana. It's great to be here today and talk with you. As Moana said, my name is Julie Fisher. I'm a mum of 3 boys, and my youngest son, Darcy, lives with Down syndrome. And in May 2019, I realised a dream that I'd had for quite some time, since high school actually, of writing a book. And the first book is called The Unexpected Journey, Embracing the Beauty of Disability. To be honest, initially I just needed to tick off that bucket list item and feel really fulfilled about achieving a dream. But as the journey unfolded with that first book and it became published, I started receiving lots of amazing comments from other families in the disability community as they were reading it, of how beneficial it was to them and what they were learning from it. And then from the wider public who didn't have anything to do with disability, how much they really loved getting a sneak peek into our world and learning a little bit more about what we do with Darcy. And that started to ignite a passion to do more. So I started, just little bits and pieces of speaking and I got the opportunity to work with Carers Victoria, which was amazing, doing the Truly Incredible Care campaign with Darcy. And then not long after that, COVID-19 hit and we all got locked down. So there was a burn to start writing another book because I had a very important message I wanted to share with the world, and that was about inclusion and acceptance. So the second book, The Magic of Inclusion, was written during COVID. And as you can see, there's my boy on the front there, yes, looking very proud. Yes. In that book, I share more of our journey, but I also share the importance of inclusion and acceptance and how simple it is. And mainly for us, I saw a real gap when we go out and about in the community. So I want the community to be better, and I want the world to be a better place for him. I don't want him to have to worry about judgment from others. So that's what that book was about. And at the end of that book, I actually interviewed 5 of my friends, and they talked about how important it was to them as well. And so once that book got out and about, I started getting asked to speak more and support families. And then the third book started coming to life, and that is From the Hearts of Mums. So during COVID, I was fortunate enough to connect with a lot of other mums around the world and interstate. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to put a book together of different stories from around the world, just so that people can get a further insight into the world of Down syndrome and just see how different it is around the world. So that's the most recent one, and we had our book launch on the 1st of April. And I actually did an online launch with my overseas mums on Monday, yesterday morning. So that was really exciting. And since the books have come out, I've been very fortunate to do some work with some other service providers in the disability community, including carers, Down Syndrome Victoria, and a few other groups. And I'm starting to do more and more speaking on a larger platform about raising awareness for inclusion and acceptance, which I'm loving. I've done a TEDx talk as well, and I now also host a local radio program with RPPFM on the Mornington Peninsula. and I interview service and support providers just as another way for the community to learn about what's out there and how they can access it the best way. And then last year, and yes, I know it sounds like lots, but it's all sort of developed slowly over the last 4 years. It's all come together. Last year, I hosted my first local disability expo because I saw a gap for families that were really struggling to find supports and weren't accessing the larger expos in the city for lots of various reasons. So I thought, wouldn't it be great to have a smaller expo locally? So I did my first one last year and it was extremely successful. So I'm doing that again this year as well. Yeah.
Wow. So how many exhibitors did you have?
Last year we had 28, and we only, because it was a pilot, because it was the first one, we just had it at our local community hall, but it wasn't big enough. We could fit everybody in, but the aisles were quite small. And so this year we're having it at a local primary school, and we've got a much larger area and different areas where I can set up like a sensory area this time. And yeah, it's going to be better. It's a little bigger. We've got 50 stall holders this time, but that's where I'm going to cap it. I don't want it to ever get any bigger than that because I want people to feel safe and I don't want them to feel overwhelmed when they come in with too much information, because sometimes that can happen as well.
Yeah, and is this for people like all sorts of disabilities?
Yes, all disabilities. So, yeah.
Oh, gosh. I'm not sure if you saw it, but I interviewed Lisa Cox.
I haven't seen it yet, no.
Yeah. Oh, you have to watch that one. That one's really good too. So I have to connect you two together. And your life has changed so much. Would you say it has changed from writing that first book?
Oh, yes. Yes, extremely. So I was working at our local pub because when we actually received a prenatal diagnosis with Darcy of the Down syndrome. So I'd made the decision that I wouldn't be able to go back to full-time, like 9 to 5 work, which is what I'd been doing, because I knew that he'd require some appointments and, like early intervention and things like that. So I was introduced into the world of hospitality by a friend. So I worked in hospitality for 14 years. Mm-hmm. And I think it was, probably 12 years when I wrote the first book. And then, just things changed and Natasha Denman offered me a job with the Ultimate 48-Hour Author because during COVID they became very busy and I accepted that. So I now work for her and I assist other first-time authors, which is amazing. I love all the diversity in the books that we have and the people that we work with. I no longer work at the pub. I left the pub not long after they reopened when the world opened back up again. So I work from home doing that, and I also have lots of time to do my own things as well with the public speaking, with writing more books. I love to write. It's a little bit of my self-care. So that's why I've sort of pumped out 3 books in 4 years because I just really enjoy it. It relaxes me and it's lovely. And the 3rd book was such an interesting process of putting together because it was very different to the first 2. So,
I love the cover of the 3rd book. I love the cover of the other 2 as well, but it's
beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous. She did a beautiful job and she actually has a son with Down syndrome too, and I met her via the Celebrate T21 community. Alexis Schnittger is her name, and she very kindly agreed to do that beautiful cover for me. So
what would you say has been your biggest challenge, I suppose, in your life?
My biggest challenge?
Yeah.
Overcoming probably my own self-belief at times. That's a really big one to push through. And with Darcy, it's probably the other one, and that's other people, like trying to work out how we can push through the judgment, because it does happen, so that we can enjoy our day and so it doesn't affect us, because early years, I did let it affect us. I got angry about it and it wasn't nice. It ruined our whole day. We didn't enjoy the day out, and I would come home and I would hold on to it for such a long time. And I thought, as he got older and he started becoming more aware of it, I thought I have to protect him from it. So I started smiling at people that were sort of staring and pointing at him, and I found that a really great way for me to push through that barrier. And and for him as well. And I also discovered that most people would smile back. So they actually weren't looking at him in a negative way. But I think because he's got a visible disability, I just immediately assumed that they were looking at him negatively. So it's been quite a good learning process for me and for others as well. The people that are judging him will normally just turn away and in embarrassment because I've caught them. So I try. Look, sometimes it's not so easy. There are still days where I really struggle with it because I just don't understand it, because they don't know us. They don't have anything to do with us, and I don't understand why they think it's okay to judge him just because they think he's a little bit different. You know, we're all different, really.
That's really good awareness, though, to smile at them and then to realise that maybe they were just looking and just like they might look at anyone else.
That's right. I mean, I love looking at people. I find people fascinating. And because of Darcy, it's taught me to then, if I'm looking at someone and I get caught looking at them, I either give them a compliment because sometimes I'm looking at them because of something lovely they're wearing or something, or I'll just smile at them, you know, to let them know that I'm not staring at them in a bad way. I'm just sort of looking. So he's taught me a lot of things like that.
Yeah. I've been caught out looking at someone before, and I've been talking to my husband and saying it's been because that person looked like